Okay, fog lights are in. It is a pain in the ass. I love LOD. I give them an A or better on almost everything, but these fog light brackets suck. Alright, today we are going to attempt to put the new LOD Destroyer front stubby bumper on the Jeep. So we'll be going from the stock OEM steel to that bad boy there. Now normally this really wouldn't be too bad of an installation, even with the winch. But what's going to make it a little bit harder is the three lights, which have wired-in plugs, so taking them off is going to be easy, but figuring out how they're going to fit on the new bull bar. And then also, that camera there. We're going to have to replace that because on my trip out west, when I broke the winch line and I had a shop replace the winch line, somehow they managed to make that camera inoperable. I have a new one, but figuring out why it's not working and getting it in there and working could be a bit of a problem. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so when you're taking your bumper off, first step, disconnect the fog lights here. This is my pigtail to the three front lights, got that disconnected. So we got that disconnected there. And it's just pushing on that there, take that out. Good to go. But the hardest part of getting this OEM steel bumper on and off with a winch is the top inside bolt, which is right in here, and it is a pain in the ass. But there's the nut. It is off. So we should start speeding up a little bit now. Okay, so we got the bumper off. I do need to take the line off the winch because the abrasion sleeve didn't come with it, and the company that put it on when I was out on the road didn't think to take one off the old line. So I've got that. I'm going to take that off, put on. We got to get the fair lead off this, and we've also got to remove the factory fog lights and get those in the new bumper. So a little work to do. Alright, so in case anybody's interested, there's the keyway we need to get out. We're going to get that out. We'll be able to pull the winch rope through, put the sleeve on. I actually got an extra abrasion sleeve, so I'll have two on there, and then we'll be able to put it back in and get it up there, and then we'll have to pre-tension it again before we actually use it. Okay, so we got the winch line back in, the abrasion sleeve on. You know, as luck would have it, I couldn't find the new one I bought, so I'm sure it'll turn up as soon as I'm done. But a little tip, if you've got a worn winch and you've got to pull the rope through the drum as opposed to bolting it to the side, soapy water works good. But if you're also a Yeti owner or another soft side cooler owner and you've got the zipper care, Hydrolock zipper wax, put that on there, came right through. Easy as butter. It was great. So now we'll get the fog lights out and in, get the fair lead off, and get the winch plate mount off. And once we have the fog lights in on the LOD Destroyer, then we'll be ready to mount it. Okay, fog lights are in. It is a pain in the ass. I love LOD. I give them an A or better on almost everything, but these fog light brackets suck. Getting them in is a pain in the ass. You have to actually cut the mountings, which, I mean, I understand. You got to make one bumper that fits all the different OEM lights, but this really just sucks. Had I known it was going to be this bad, I just bought other ones and left these in the bumper to sell the steel bumper. Mounting this is going to suck a little bit too, because instead of welding on bolts, you got to use bolts, nuts, and washers, and they just give you these slots here to get your wrench up into, so you got to use painter's tape and box end wrenches, and it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. But other than that, I do love LOD, and I think it's going to be a great bumper. So we'll see. Okay, so it started sprinkling a little bit, so we moved inside. We've got the winch out, the winch plate out. This is the wiring for my second front camera. I've got the Z Automotive front-facing camera, and that works great, but I wanted something that actually show me what I'm doing if I'm in a very steep incline or what's really coming right up from under me. So I mounted the second one with a two-way switch up in the cab, so I can just flip a switch, go from one to the other. And I'm going to mount this in the skid plate. So drilled a little hole there. That's where the camera's going to go. So it'll be in the skid plate and give me another look right down in front of the Jeep when I'm wheeling on the trails. Okay, so the bumper is on, the skid plate is on, my main front light is on, the new front camera is hooked up. It's right there. The picture quality sucks, but that's better than nothing. Maybe I'll knock it off with a rock when I go out wheeling. Still have to put the winch on, the license plate mount, the fairlead mount, and I also got a light mount to go on the fairlead mount where my little cube lights will go up right here and point off to the sides to give me some better trail view if I'm out wheeling at night. This light barely just fits up here. It actually had to bend a little bit, and you can actually see that it's bent out just slightly, but it works, and the camera can kind of still see through. Not as much as I'd like, but you know, give up one thing for another, so that's what it is. But I decided to paint the fairlead mount and the light mount and the license plate mount red. We don't have to run a front license plate here in Georgia, but figure, you know, got it, and you can put something on there if I want to, and if I don't, screw it. But we'll do that tomorrow. The paint should be dry. We'll get the winch on, get it wired up, and should be good to go. Looking forward to it. Okay, so we got the winch on. I did order the license plate hanger and the light bar that would go on back here, but my lights just aren't gonna work there the way I want them to. So we're gonna go with the mounts we had before. Then I'll mount the cube lights on each side of the bull bar, and life will be good. Little installation tip when you're using the LOD Destroyer front bumper with the factory OEM lights. It is very tight in there for the front mount bolts for the winch. And what worked for me was to slide the winch all the way over one way, get that bolt in, slide it all the way over the other way, get that bolt in, and then center it up and tighten everything up. It was still a little bit of a pain in the ass, but not bad considering. Okay, so the installation is complete. We got everything on there. Everything's working. Quality, I give it a 10 out of 10. Price, I give it about an 8 out of 10. It is a little bit more expensive. Install, I give it about a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6. It's not terrible. It could be better, but it could be a lot worse as well. I love the look of it. I did like the OEM steel bumper look better than this, but this is much more functional when you think about having to change a winch line. I can change a winch line on this on the trail with a screwdriver and a piece of wire. With the OEM steel bumper, you have to take the bumper off, and I did have a winch line break when I was out on a trip out west. I went from Atlanta to Utah and Colorado and back, and hit off-road parks on the way in. My second stop at Hot Springs, Arkansas, broke a winch line and had to pay a shop to take the bumper off and install the winch line. Now I can do it myself. So this is much more functional. I think it's gonna I don't know if it's going to be a lot sturdier, because that OEM steel bumper can take some abuse. But I do like the look of it. I like that I painted the skid plate red. Took about a day and a half to get everything done. A couple things that didn't work out. I did order the license plate mount, even though we don't have to run here in Georgia. It just seemed like it was going to be more of a pain in the ass than it was worth, so I didn't do it. And I also ordered the light mount that went on top of the fairlead mount, but that was going to put these two lights, which are on here to light up the side of a trail at night, right here, and it was going to shoot that light a little bit further out front. So I actually like them better where they are. So wasted a little bit of money, but all in all, I'm happy with it. I've got the LOD Destroyer on the back of the Jeep with a tire carrier, trail rack, roto packs mount, and multi-mount, and it is phenomenal. It actually saved me from some serious damage when I put the Jeep on its side in Arkansas. I had my Yeti on the trail rack, and it laid up against a tree, which made the landing on the side of the Jeep really, really soft. So it bent the trail rack a little bit, but used the forklift at work, straightened it out, and all's good. But anyway, if you're looking for bumpers, I highly recommend LOD.